So good to see you.
You
And
too.
live, and we are live. So good morning, everybody. Good morning to Morning Momentum with Grace and Diana Flo from Diana Consulting. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. How are
Oh,
you?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited about where this conversation goes because we already know that it's going to go somewhere. It was so funny because I texted Diana before we were waiting because I'm doing wanted to try the StreamYard again. For some reason, it wasn't working in when I was in Florida. My camera and voice wouldn't come on, so I don't know, some kind of connection or whatever. But we got there. So I texted Diana. I said, Diana, do you have something on your heart to share? And I had already had something put. Actually, it's even posted there ahead of time, and not for Diana. She wouldn't have seen it. Good morning, everybody. Um, but I said, do you have something on your mind to share? And what did you say, Diana?
Well, at first, when you first asked me, I was like, oh no, she's asked me. I don't know what I'm going to say because I had something else on my mind. And then I said, okay, that thought just came in is when you don't see results, just keep pushing. So I said, that's it. That's it.
And I said, oh my goodness, Diana, because we were going to talk about persistence, but I wanted to see what was on your heart and mind first. And it's just amazing when we talk about frequency, when we talk about prayer and frequency and synergy and God knowing what it is that we need. Um, it's amazing how quickly it comes when we ask that we shall receive. And so that is so awesome. And you are one to talk about persistence. So why did that come to your mind? First of all, I just want to say this woman, this topic on persistence is she can speak very well of. You have an incredible story, Diana. Do you want to just give just a little bit of verb about what you do, who you are, and who you're serving?
Yeah. So, I have, let's see. So I just celebrated 27 years clean and sober. So I was in eighth grade. I know, right? It's
Come on,
amazing.
clap for my friend Diana here. Clap. Woohoo. 27
Amazing.
years clean and sober. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Congratulations.
So thank you. So I was an eighth grade dropout. I finished eighth grade and got down the wrong track. Went down the wrong track, got strung out on drugs, got married at 15, had my first baby at 17, got divorced at 18, really wasn't living much of a life. And for God, I can only say God, I got tired of, I was suicidal, kept trying to commit suicide. Finally quit using. Finally, I went to three or four drug rehabs. Finally went to California, quit using. It was very, very hard. I'm not, like I say, quit using. It was not like, oh, I just quit using.
Right.
It was hard. I was married to a man that used. The drugs were always there. And so when I went to California to drug rehab this time, I was like, Lord, whatever you say do, I'm doing. If you say jump off a building, I'm going to have to trust you because I'm not getting anywhere with me. And so I did.
I'm
And
not getting anywhere with me. I love that. I'm not getting anywhere with me. God help me. That's so good.
yeah, it's like everything I did wasn't working. So obviously I need something. I didn't have anything else to call on. Like I didn't really know who God was, but everybody else knew who God was. So somebody told me, borrow my God. So I was like, okay, I'll borrow your God, So I did. And through a lot of work, a lot of counseling, I did go to 12-step meetings. I went to a counselor every week. And I'll be honest, it took me, I was in 12-step programs, going to counseling for 2 years before I actually started going to church. I started going to church and got so confused. And my therapist said, "Oh no, back up. Don't do that yet." And I'm like, "Well, who would tell you not to go to church?" But it was too confusing. I couldn't figure it all out.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, I started doing everything they said do. And before you know it, 27 years. I went to nursing school after that. I divorced after I went to nursing school. I ended up having a baby. So I had a baby. I don't know if you know this part, but I had a baby right at the beginning of nursing school. And I was so suicidal. I was contemplating suicide.
So this
And
is once you've sobered up,
yeah,
gotten your life clean,
this is
moving
sober.
forward. You got pregnant, and you were suicidal before you got pregnant.
Well, I was kind of suicidal throughout all that because I was
Okay.
clean and sober, but I was still with a man. I still felt trapped. I knew God. I knew God was with me, but I wasn't getting out of where I was at. I felt so trapped. And then now I have another baby to care for. I don't have the money, and everything was
Wow.
mentally, I wasn't there. And so I talked with a friend. I was still in counseling. I was in counseling for about 10 years. And it was relapse prevention counseling, but it dealt with everything that caused you to relapse, right? Your mindset. And so I made it through it. I honestly, like when I think of this about keeping you not seeing results, honestly, I journaled this whole time. And what I did was I would have to look back on what God's done for me. And that's what sticks to me now. So when I go to, like, I picked up 27 years, I went to AA, picked up 27-year chip this past week. And when they talk about, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? Well, honestly, I mean, there's so many more than one way to do it, but it's always God in the center of all of it, right? But the thing about it is I always had to look back at whether you call it his resume, his track record, whatever you want to call it. I had to go back and look back at what he had been doing for me all this time. And the journaling has helped me with that because I can look back and say, oh yeah, when I was suicidal, I made it through because I did whatever. And so I looked at the whole thing. I made it through nursing school with a man that was actively using, and I had small kids and no money. So always go back. I always had to go back and look at his track record. So yeah, that's kind of my story in a short version of my story.
That's a fascinating story, and we see so much. You would have had to have so much persistence. So the one thing I want to ask you is, so when you went the first time, and you're just like, I'm not getting very far with me, so I need you to take me there. What got you to that point where you're just like, and guys, like I think in any area of our life, no matter where we're at, what we're doing, do we get to a point where like, I'm not getting very far with me. We talk about success, we talk about persistence, we talk about, that definite purpose of going after what it is that's in your heart to do. And you go from this place of striving, working so hard and laboring and going after it. And then you get to the point where it's like you're exhausted.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm not getting very far with me. God, I need you to do it because you created this definite purpose. You created what it was that's in my heart to do. So I'm just going to put myself aside, right?
Yep.
And allow you to lead. So how does I'm going to put myself aside, allow you to lead. How do we stay in persistence with that?
Well, I'll say the one thing that always comes to mind whenever I think about that is, and this sounds crazy, is desperation. And it's desperate for a different place to be than I'm at right now. If I'm wherever, like just for me right now, in my journey right now that I'm in, right? So what I do now is I am on a mission to help other people, especially professionals, because I work a lot with professionals now that I'm a nurse. But I work with them to get clean and sober, to get out of bad relationships, whatever that place is. But especially sobriety. That's a big thing for me, right? So I'm going from there, from being a nurse now to being there, and I have to go, how desperate am I? Because I just feel like I'm just spinning, right? So as you know, this past week I had my week away, my week care week, or my love week, whatever you want to call it, my week with myself. And so I feel like you have to do is you have to be at that place where you're like, you know what? I am over all of this because I'm going nowhere. Now I'm willing to do the uncomfortable. That's the bottom line. So today I'm going out to the Jewish Center. I'm going to places today. So that's not what I like to do. I love people and I love to talk to people, but I don't like getting uncomfortable. So I think it's being, for me, I believe it is being desperate, as in willing, number one, just willing,
Yes. Willing.
willing, and
Wow.
willing to do
Okay.
those things that feel so uncomfortable, or the things that you think people may judge you, or people may look at you, or whatever is uncomfortable for you. It's being willing to go there. And when we're willing to make that one step, that to me is persistence, right? Persistent. I'm going to go after what I want because I'm tired of living this way. And so when we're willing to do that, I think personally, that's when the mountains have always been moved for me. So that's kind of
Oh,
what I'm waiting on. That's what I'm looking
you're
at today.
slamming principles. You're slamming Think and Grow Rich principles
Yes.
right here, guys. This
Yes.
is why I love this book and this study, Think and Grow Rich, because it's principles. You
Yes.
heard her definite purpose, right,
Mhm.
is to help people be free, right? Free
Yep.
from slavery of
Yeah.
alcoholism and abuse, right?
Yep.
And drug control. She's looking for that. So that's her definite purpose. Her desire had to become super, super strong, right?
Yes.
And that it turned into an obsessive desire of this. I need to, I know this is in me to get this done. And so how do I do that? I'm going to put the pedal here of this desire, turn it up and be willing to get uncomfortable. And that is really growth. We talked about that yesterday, about being willing to be uncomfortable about it. And that's really it. Is when you look back on your life, Diana, and the things that you probably the parties and the places that you showed up, and you probably looked absolutely ridiculous. So to think about this in a practical way, like really
Nothing.
what have you done up to this point that didn't make you look ridiculous?
Well, this doesn't make me, well, let me say,
Right?
I did a
You don't
lot
have
of,
to worry about it. You don't have to worry about what other people think.
yeah, I didn't worry about it then. Well,
Right. That's
I
what I'm saying.
never really thought about that. Well, let me stop and say that yesterday I told you this is my thing, right? I'm done, right? This is where I'm at right now. So I just, today is my first day 1 of 14 for reading persistence. Because I'm
Awesome.
going back to
Good.
reading persistence. But back then, I did things I never blinked an eye. Well, yeah, I did. In the end, I did. I didn't in the beginning ever think, what does anybody think about me? But in the end, it did start affecting me because I was losing my kids. We were on the news because we, were doing things that weren't right. And, people were judging me really bad. And so I was judged, and I did start looking at me, and it didn't help me for sure to go, oh my God, I'm such a bad mother. And I did in the end when it started getting really bad. But those things, this is nothing compared to that. I mean, if you want to judge me because I'm going to go in there and try to help somebody, then judge on, because I'm going to be somewhere one day.
Exactly.
If one person gets helped, judge me.
Right. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Like that you've turned the tables over.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Like
yes.
I'm going forward to making a difference in people's lives. I'm going forward because I've gone through what they need to go through.
Yes.
I've brought myself to the other side. I have a story to share. I have actions to take. I have the tools and the advice and the counseling and the everything to help bring you forward.
Yes.
Right? And so that's so powerful. So you want people to recognize and take force and saying, wow, this is a woman. This is a woman with an amazing force. Take reckon of what it is that I'm about to do, because I'm about to turn the tables for your life. I'm about to turn things over for you. So yeah.
And it helps to have, I will say this, and it is absolutely, my other thought was before this was one of the things I was thinking was, it's so important to have the people in your life that are the cheerleaders like you, because you're going to have the naysayers and you're going to have them on both sides, but make sure that you have the ones on the side that are telling you just exactly like what you said, because it's people like you that have been in my life and that are still in my life that cheer me on, that help me go, oh yeah, yeah, that is right. I am going in the right direction. I do need to do this, you know? So that's very important to me. So yeah, but you're right. And now it's like, okay, it's almost like turning a light switch off. I'm done. Time to move on. Time to get with the show now.
Diana, you did not go through all of this just to keep it to yourself. And when I was visiting a center in Jacksonville, there was a woman that had come out of human trafficking, and she was like Barnes from the story Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Barnes. He
Oh,
looked like a tramp, but his thoughts were that of a king.
yes.
And this woman, she had gone through whatever that she had gone through, horrible stuff, but she's like, she was just, oh, she was confident. There was no moving her. She says, I did not go through all this stuff to keep it to myself. I am traveling to different countries. I'm speaking my story, and I'm going to help other people I'm going to help other women get out of this control and slavery. But she said it with such a conviction and such a boldness that I said, I have Barnes standing right in front of me right now. You know, I could judge the appearance. I could judge if I didn't, but you could. Anybody could, right? Coming in and saying, okay, well, don't you need to go through this? Don't you need to go through this training? Don't you need to have that experience first? No, she has every experience that she had to bring forward to move the mountains for women's lives. And the same thing for you. You've gone through every circumstance, every situation, everything in your life to move forward, to move mountains for other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. That is your education, right?
That's your education, girl. You've had every bit of education to help people. And I just am like just such a witness to your life.
Thank you.
Just a witness. You just are so remarkable. So remarkable. I get so excited about starting my mentorship center because of the women specifically that God has brought into my life to see what you've gone through.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Marlene that I had on, she's a 20-year recovering alcoholic as well. Amazing. Yes, amazing.
Yeah. I love it.
So it's like I get so excited because I want to help mentor women that have come on really stressful and just really unhopeful situations, right? And bring them into a place of, we're not just going to have you sweeping floors and wiping tables.
Right.
We're going to make you so super successful. We're going to bring you to the front. You are the head and not the tail. And we're going to help you get there by bringing in professionals, by bringing in mentors, by bringing in leaders. I look forward to you coming to my mentorship room, to my mentorship place, to come and to share and teach and equip these women, and just to be a light into the world.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I'm excited for you. You're doing great work yourself. Like there's so many more people, you know, we need people like you out there doing this kind of stuff. To be honest with you, there's most people, well, I won't say most, but a lot of people, most of them that I have been aware of in the past, they don't know how to help, so they just don't do anything, or they judge.
Right.
And judging gets you nowhere. Judging judging only hurts them. It does not help them one bit. Like they already know exactly what you think, they feel that. So,
Diana, you go out there today.
I'm
with the armor that you have, because you are equipped. Everything that you need to overcome and to speak and to define and to go after is in you. And you are fierce. You are a fierce, bold, confident woman. You're clean and free and just completely resurrected. So you go after it. None of us have to be perfect. I think, a situation today I was thinking about, we work so hard to make things look like we're perfect, like go to this extent of, putting things in order and making things look so good when really they can unravel and they can come apart in no time. What is perfection? What does that striving for perfection prove? Nothing other than we want to feel like we're better than everybody else. We don't need to do that because Christ is alive in us, right? God is alive in us and he perfects it. We just need to be persistent. We just need to apply the principles that we apply to our life, right? Yes. In order to fulfill everything that's in us. So thanks so much for joining us. We went a little bit over, but it's just it's a really good discussion that we're having here this morning. And I know that every discussion that I have with my friends here and sharing, that there's somebody that needed to be encouraged. There's somebody that needed to hear what we needed to hear. And so if that was for you, reach out and let us know. You know, if Diana is somebody that you need to hear, you know, that you need to hear, you know, be mentored by and directed by, then you need to reach out to her at Diana Consulting, dianaconsulting.com. What is your
It
your
is no, it's Flow Consulting. So
Flow
you can
Consulting?
so
Sorry.
you get it is dianaflowcoaching.com, or you can email me at flowconsulting@gmail.com.
Okay.
Either one.
Flow Consulting at gmail.com, or it's Diana Flow Coaching.
Yes.
Amazing.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for coming. You're welcome anytime.
Awesome. Thank you.
You just pick the date you show up. That'd be so great.
I might do that.
Okay, my friends, have an amazing day. Have a momentous day. Take care. Let me just